The dreams began as faint whispers, a voice half heard, a presence just out of reach. At first, Alex dismissed them as the cruel workings of a restless mind, but night after night, the whispers grew louder. The voice, achingly familiar, called their name from the depths of their subconscious. It was her voice, Eva's, soft and melodic, edged with desperation. On the fourth night, Alex stood once again on the mist-shrouded bridge, the one that seemed to materialize from nowhere. Each dream began the same. Alex, alone, staring into a swirling fog that consumed everything but the faint outline of the bridge beneath their feet. The air felt dense, muffled, as though sound itself struggled to exist. "Alex." Her voice floated through the mist, distant and fragmented, as if carried on a fractured breeze. They called out, their voice trembling. "Eva, is that you?" The response was not words, but an overwhelming sense of presence. Alex could feel her near, just beyond the veil of mist, close enough to touch yet impossibly far away. The faint glow of light rippled ahead, like a candle struggling to stay alight in the wind. With hesitant steps, Alex moved forward, the planks of the bridge creaking underfoot. But they never reached the light. Each time they tried, the bridge stretched endlessly, the glowing point receding as though it were playing a cruel game of cat and mouse. And just before the dream collapsed into wakefulness, the same thing always happened, a jarring pulse, like the reverberation of a great bell, would thrum through the air. It shook Alex to the core, rattling bones and heart alike. That morning, Alex woke with a gasp, drenched in sweat, the phantom pulse still echoing in their ears. They sat upright in bed, the dim morning light doing little to dispel the lingering chill that clung to their skin. Their gaze fell on the small wooden desk by the window. Eva's journal lay there, untouched since her disappearance 6 months ago. Alex had avoided it, fearing what might be written within its pages. Yet now, the dream felt like a call, an invitation, or perhaps a warning. Rising, Alex hesitated only a moment before crossing the room and opening the journal. The scent of old paper greeted them, and their fingers trembled as they flipped through the pages. At first, it was filled with Eva's tidy handwriting, mundane entries about work and their life together. But as Alex turned to the later pages, the tone shifted. The words grew fragmented, hurried, symbols began appearing in the margins, swirling spirals, interlocking triangles, and strange alien patterns that seemed to pulse faintly under Alex's touch. One passage stood out, written in bold strokes that practically leapt from the page. "The bridge exists between worlds. I heard it again last night. The pulse, it calls to me, but I'm afraid to follow. What lies beyond the veil is not meant for us." Alex's breath hitched. The bridge, the pulse. Eva had seen it too. The discovery haunted Alex throughout the day, the journal's cryptic words carving themselves into their thoughts. The bridge exists between worlds. What did Eva mean? Had she been dreaming the same unsettling visions? Or had she stumbled upon something far worse? That evening, Alex sat in their living room, the journal resting on the coffee table like an artifact from another world. The symbols scrawled within seemed to shift in the flickering light of the fireplace, though Alex chalked it up to frayed nerves. Their phone buzzed. It was a text from Caleb, their closest friend, and the only one who knew the full depth of Eva's disappearance. "Caleb, any updates?" Alex hesitated before typing back. "Alex, something weird. I think she might have been onto something before she disappeared." The reply came almost immediately. "Caleb, you okay? Want me to come by?" Alex shook their head and typed back, "No, I'm fine, just trying to figure this out." The truth was, Alex wasn't fine. The journal wasn't the only strange occurrence that day. In their peripheral vision, faint glimmers had appeared, brief flashes of light that vanished when they turned to look. Twice they thought they heard Eva's voice, soft and plaintive, but the sound evaporated before they could pinpoint its source. It wasn't until late evening that they noticed the symbols. One had been sketched in condensation on the bathroom mirror after their shower, a spiral within a triangle. Another appeared faintly etched into the frost on the kitchen window. Alex's hands shook as they returned to the journal, flipping to a page where Eva had described the symbols in detail. "They are markers," she'd written, "breadcrumbs left behind for those who listen. The veil doesn't just call, it leaves a path for those who dare to follow." The air in the room thickened, pressing in like an invisible weight. Alex's heartbeat quickened as they realized the truth. These weren't coincidences. The symbols, the dreams, they were connected. The pulse came again, not as a sound, but as a vibration Alex felt deep within their chest. It was fainter now, distant, but unmistakable. Alex stood, drawn toward the kitchen window. Outside, the darkness pressed against the glass, vast and consuming. But just at the edge of their yard, a faint glow pulsed in time with the thrum in their chest. Eva's words whispered in their mind. Breadcrumbs left behind for those who listen. Wrapping a coat tightly around them, Alex stepped into the cold, their breath clouding the air. The glow shimmered in the distance, beckoning like a distant star. And for the first time since Eva's disappearance, Alex felt they were no longer walking alone. The glow led Alex beyond the familiar confines of their property, weaving through dense woods where the light of the moon barely reached. Each step felt heavier than the last, as though the air thickened with every inch closer to the mysterious source. The soundless night amplified their unease. Even the crunch of twigs beneath their boots seemed muffled, swallowed by the oppressive stillness. The glow pulsed steadily ahead, a beacon in the otherwise featureless darkness. Alex followed it with an almost trance-like determination, clutching Eva's journal tightly against their chest. Her words echoed in their mind like a chant. The veil doesn't just call, it leaves a path. After what felt like hours, the woods parted to reveal a clearing, bathed in a faint, ethereal light. At its center stood the bridge from Alex's dreams, impossibly real, and stretching across a chasm that seemed to open into nothingness. The swirling mist obscured the far end, but the bridge itself shimmered with an unnatural glow, as though it were alive. Alex hesitated at the edge of the clearing. The journal's pages fluttered slightly in the windless air, as if responding to the energy surrounding the bridge. They flipped to a passage scrawled in haste, Eva's handwriting jagged and uneven. "Once you cross, you cannot go back the same. The Keeper watches all who dare enter." "The Keeper?" Alex whispered aloud, the words trembling in the night air. A low hum emanated from the bridge, vibrating deep in their bones. It wasn't the pulse this time. It was different, resonant and rhythmic, like the plucking of an unseen string. The sound seemed to beckon them forward, promising answers, yet laden with an unspoken threat. Summoning their courage, Alex stepped onto the first plank. The air shifted immediately. The world around them grew hazy, the edges of reality blurring as though painted on water. Shadows swirled in the mist below, their shapes fluid and unrecognizable. Each step forward felt like sinking deeper into an ocean of silence. "Ava?" Alex called, their voice barely a whisper. The only response was the hum, louder now, reverberating with each step. Midway across the bridge, the mist parted slightly, revealing a faint figure ahead. Alex froze. It was a silhouette, a tall, cloaked form, standing motionless in the center of the bridge. The Keeper. Though its face was obscured, Alex felt the weight of its gaze, a piercing, unseen force that seemed to read their every thought. It raised one hand, its bony fingers curling as if beckoning Alex forward. "You're not real," Alex murmured. though the tremor in their voice betrayed the statement. The figure didn't move, but seemed to swell in presence, the hum deepening into a chorus of whispers that scraped against Alex's mind. "Do you seek answers?" The words weren't spoken aloud, but they reverberated inside Alex's skull, clear and commanding. "I want to find her," Alex said, their voice breaking. "I need to find Eva." The keeper tilted its head slightly, the shadows around it twisting like smoke. "To find her, you must face what lies beyond." The bridge trembled as the keeper extended its hand toward Alex, though it didn't step closer. The whispers around them grew louder, rising to a crescendo that seemed to come from both the mist and within Alex's mind. "What do you mean?" Alex asked, their voice barely audible over the cacophony. The keeper didn't answer with words. Instead, the swirling mist around the bridge seemed to coalesce, forming shapes that grew clearer with each passing moment. Memories. The scene from their living room appeared, hazy and warped. Alex and Eva sat together on the couch, the flicker of the fireplace casting warm light across their faces. It was the night before Eva disappeared. Alex remembered the way her laughter had filled the room, the way she'd leaned against their shoulder. But something was wrong. The memory distorted, Eva's figure twisting unnaturally as the warmth of the fire faded into cold shadows. Her laughter turned hollow, echoing into the mist as her image stretched and dissolved. In its place, a shape emerged, a dark figure, too tall and thin, with eyes like glowing embers. "You can't have her!" Alex shouted, their voice breaking the silence. The keeper remained still, its shadowy presence absorbing Alex's outburst. The memory faded, replaced by another, a moment from Alex's childhood. Their old house appeared, vivid and oppressive. They stood in the doorway, watching their parents argue, the weight of the moment pressing on their chest. "No," Alex whispered, shaking their head. "Not here. Not this." The whispers grew insistent, drilling into Alex's mind. "To cross the veil, you must shed what binds you." "What binds me?" Alex's voice cracked, tears welling in their eyes. "I just want to find her." The keeper raised its hand again, and this time the mist pulled back to reveal the other side of the bridge. The glow there was brighter, almost blinding, but it pulsed in time with the hum, a rhythm that Alex realized now was synced to their heartbeat. The whispers quieted as the keeper stepped aside, gesturing toward the far end of the bridge. "Your answer lies ahead, but the price must be paid." "What price?" The keeper's form wavered, its presence fading into the mist. Its final words echoed in Alex's mind. "The veil takes what it is owed." Heart pounding, Alex stepped forward. The bridge seemed to shift underfoot, the glow from the far side growing ever brighter. Each step felt like wading through thick air, but the pull of the light was irresistible. As they reached the end of the bridge, the glow engulfed them, erasing the world behind. And then there was silence. The light faded, revealing a landscape that defied logic. Alex stood on the threshold of a world that was both alien and hauntingly familiar, as if their dreams had spilled into reality. The ground beneath their feet shimmered, not quite solid, its surface rippling like water with every step. Around them, towers of translucent crystal spiraled toward a sky that was neither day nor night, but an endless, shifting gradient of deep blues and purples. The silence was deafening, broken only by the faint hum that had followed Alex since they first stepped onto the bridge. But here, the hum was softer, more organic, like a distant heartbeat. "Ava," Alex called, their voice trembling. The sound didn't echo, but seemed to vanish into the air, devoured by the oppressive stillness. Then, from the corner of their vision, a flicker of movement. They turned sharply, their breath catching. A figure stood a short distance away, half shrouded by swirling mist. It was unmistakably her. "Ava!" Alex broke into a run, their boots splashing against the strange, shimmering ground. But as they neared, the figure stepped back, receding further into the mist. "Wait!" Their voice cracked with desperation, but Eva didn't answer. She moved with an unnatural fluidity, her outline flickering like a mirage. Alex slowed as the mist thickened, wrapping around them like a living thing. It whispered, not words, but the suggestion of sound, fragmented syllables that scratched at the edges of comprehension. The whispers grew louder, layering upon one another until Alex clamped their hands over their ears. It didn't help. "Ava, please!" The figure paused, and for the first time, it turned toward them fully. Alex's heart lurched. It was Eva. Her features were unmistakable, the curve of her jaw, the warmth in her eyes. But there was something wrong. Her skin was too pale, almost luminous, and her eyes held no recognition, only a blank, otherworldly calm. "Alex," she said, her voice hollow and distant, like it came from the depths of a cavern. "You're here," Alex whispered, tears spilling down their cheeks. They reached for her, but their hand passed through empty air, her image rippling like water. "I can't stay," Eva said, her expression softening with sorrow. "I'm tethered to this place now, to the veil." "No," Alex said, shaking their head violently. "I came here for you. I crossed the bridge. You crossed," Eva interrupted, her voice growing quieter. "But the veil doesn't give. It takes." The words settled over Alex like a shroud, cold and suffocating. They stepped closer, their hand trembling as it hovered near her face. "There has to be a way," Alex pleaded. "We can leave together. We can." A sound cut through the air, low and resonant. The pulse. It reverberated around them, shaking the ground and sending waves through the mist. Ava's form wavered, her edges dissolving like smoke, caught in a gale. "No," Alex cried, trying to hold on to her, but their hands grasped nothing. The mist surged, swallowing Eva completely. Alex spun, their surroundings a kaleidoscope of shifting shapes in dim light. "Ava!" The whispers returned, louder now, forming fragmented sentences. "You crossed. You called her. The price is paid." The hum crescendoed, and Alex felt a pull deep in their chest, as though their very essence were being drawn into the mist. Then, in the swirling chaos, a new shape emerged. A reflection. It was Alex. The figure was identical in every way, but wrong. Its eyes were hollow, its movements too smooth, too deliberate. It stepped forward, a spectral hand outstretched, mimicking Alex's every move. "This is what it takes," the whispers intoned. "A tether for a tether." Alex stumbled back, understanding dawning with crushing finality. "I can't!" The doppelganger tilted its head, its empty eyes unblinking. Behind it, the mist began to part, revealing the bridge once more. The whispers softened. "Choose." Alex's mind raced, torn between the weight of loss and the impossible demand before them. For a moment, they glimpsed Eva in the distance, her faint outline watching, waiting. Tears streamed down Alex's face as they took a trembling step forward, toward the doppelganger. Their hand met its cold, empty palm, and the figure smiled, a slow, unnatural stretch of its lips. The mist surged again, enveloping Alex entirely. When it cleared, they stood once more on the bridge, the veil receding into the shadows behind them. The hum was gone, replaced by the distant sound of the wind. Alex glanced down at their hands, at the faint, glowing mark etched into their skin, a reminder of the choice they had made. They turned toward the far side of the bridge, the light of the waking world barely visible through the thinning mist. Each step felt heavier than the last, burdened with the knowledge that some part of them would remain behind, tethered to the veil forever. And behind them, the whispers faded, carrying one final echo of Eva's voice. "You will always find me here."